Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
You know, his authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
All right, guys, today's court hearing is absolutely wild. We've got a guy named Matthew Aldridge. Well, at least that's what the paperwork says. But the man at the podium, he's pulling the classic I don't have a name routine and calling himself the attorney in fact, which, by the way, isn't even a real legal title. These sovereign citizen types always try to argue that the court has no authority over them. But let's be real. Courts have jurisdiction over anyone within their area, period. The judge isn't buying any of it, not even for a second. And the way he shuts this guy down at the end, it's epic. He completely outsmarts him, and you're going to want to see how it all unfolds. Let's jump into it.
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
I'm the attorney of fact for the respondent in the area.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
No, I do not this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't we court just let me file this document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me. Apparently there's a copy here.
I mean, it's one thing for this guy to say he's an attorney in fact, but to back it up, he literally hands the judge a random piece of paper. Now, I know you guys didn't get to see it because it was kind of a slow part of the hearing, but trust me, the paper just quoted some made-up law that supposedly gives him the right to represent Matthew Aldridge. For anyone wondering, real. Attorneys have to be licensed by the state and follow actual legal procedures. This whole DIY, one-page legal fantasy. Yeah, that's not how any of this works. Sovereign citizens like this guy love to argue about jurisdiction, as if just declaring themselves above the law magically makes it true. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Courts operate on well-established laws, not imaginary ones pulled off Reddit or some sketchy PDF. And honestly, am I just unlucky, or is this whole sovereign citizen thing actually getting more popular? I keep stumbling across these wild cases.
All right. Well, I find that Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which is set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge. If you are, in fact, Matthew Neal Aldridge, then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Question. Is that an Article 3 trial?
To what?
Will that be an Article 3 trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury, certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are in fact Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately, it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. All right. To Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be uttered.
This judge is handling this lunatic like an absolute pro. He stays completely calm while shutting the guy down at every turn. The whole attorney-in-fact nonsense barely even had a chance to take off before the judge dismantled it piece by piece. It honestly seemed like the judge either took it personally or had just dealt with this type of nonsense one too many times. Especially once the guy started quoting made-up laws, that's when the judge really started swinging back. And I've got to say, the moment when the judge told him he couldn't utter his name, that was hilarious. Judges usually stay pretty stoic and expressionless, so seeing that little jab was unexpectedly funny. But from the start, it was crystal clear. This judge wasn't about to waste a single second on this circus act. And honestly, it just proves how ridiculous and pointless these sovereign citizen stunts really are.
Then we will set a July 15th trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are in fact Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take your piece of paper and go on about your business.
Sovereign citizens are truly something else. These are people who genuinely believe they can opt out of the legal system just by claiming they don't recognize the government's authority. You'll hear them rant about things like common law or the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, while completely misunderstanding how any of it actually works. Just to set the record straight, courts operate under federal, state, and local laws that have been around for centuries and are backed by the Constitution. There's no secret loophole that lets you just decide the rules don't apply to you. Yet somehow these folks continue clogging up courtrooms with bizarre arguments, wasting everyone's time and ultimately walking away with nothing but a criminal record. Legally speaking, the whole sovereign citizen defense collapses on one key point: jurisdiction. Courts have jurisdiction over anyone in their geographic area, no matter what kind of legal fantasy you bring to the table. Judges have seen it all before, and they're not here to play along. And for anyone wondering, trying to dodge taxes or fight a speeding ticket with this nonsense doesn't just fail. It can actually land you with harsher penalties for wasting the court's time. I don't really get why people keep trying this. Do they really think they're outsmarting the system? Or is it just some weird form of rebellion? Either way, it's ridiculous and honestly kind of sad. They're not challenging the system. They're just making a spectacle of themselves. Anyway, that wraps up my breakdown for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let Me know what you think about the whole sovereign citizen movement down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and take care.